Hello, my name is Melanie Duncan and I'm the Executive Director of Family Life. The element today in our Lent at Home kit is the coin. The coin represents the betrayal of Jesus by Judas. Betrayal can also be called backstabbing or disloyalty. Now, who is Judas Iscariot? Judas was one of the 12 disciples. He had been following John the Baptist during his ministry. Nathanael, who was also one of the 12, met Judas and invited him to follow Jesus. And Judas was the 12th disciple chosen. He was also appointed treasurer of the disciples, or as John 12:6 says, the keeper of the money bag. He paid all the expenses and kept the books. Now, why would Judas betray Jesus? John 12:1-6 says, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here, a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Then Mary took out a pint of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair. And the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, who was later to betray him, objected, "Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It is worth a year's wages." He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put into it. So, one reason Judas might have betrayed Jesus was because he loved money. A second reason he might have betrayed Jesus was that Judas wanted Jesus to have power and rule people as an earthly king. Judas saw that Jesus had deliberately taken a different way, the way that led to the cross. In his disappointment, his devotion turned to the point that drove him to betray Jesus. And third, it may have been that Judas never intended for Jesus to die. He might have thought Jesus was moving too slowly and wanted to force him into action. So how did the betrayal come about? Matthew 26:14-16 says, "Then one of the 12, the one called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and asked, 'What are you willing to give me if I hand him over to you?' And they set out for him 30 pieces of silver. So from then on, Judas looked for an opportunity to betray Jesus. 30 pieces of silver. That was the same price to buy a slave in those days. Jesus was handed over and betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. It seems like such a small amount of money for the Son of God to be betrayed by, but yet Judas did it. Now, have you been tempted to do something you know you shouldn't for money? Have you betrayed someone? Whatever the reason or the price, the tragedy of Judas is that he refused to accept Jesus as he was and tried to make him what he, Judas, wanted him to be. It is not Jesus who can be changed by us, but we who must be changed by Jesus.